The Imperial Reckoning, a night shift's revelation. Imagine this. You're desperate, working a graveyard shift to keep your family afloat, sacrificing your own dreams. Then, the very person connected to your family's deepest trauma walks into your life, not as a villain, but as an unexpected beacon of hope. What would you do? Would you seek revenge, or could you find forgiveness in the most unlikely place? Like this video if you've ever had to put your dreams on hold for someone you love. And don't forget to hit subscribe for more gripping stories. Camilla Hayes checked the clock for the third time in 5 minutes, 11:15 p.m. Her first night shift at the Grand Monarch Hotel started in 15 minutes, and her stomach churned with nerves. "You'll be just fine, sweetie." Martha coughed from the armchair, a blanket draped over her legs. "It's just checking guests in and answering the phone. Mom, you should be in bed." Camilla adjusted the black blazer of her uniform. "The doctor said you need to rest so your lungs can recover. 30 years working at that hotel, and now my 25-year-old daughter has to cover my shifts." Martha shook her head. "It's not right." Camilla knelt in front of her mother and took her hands. "It's only for a few weeks until you can go back. What about your literature degree, your university classes?" Martha worried. "I'll take them online. I've already spoken to my professors." Martha looked at her with those eyes that knew every sacrifice Camilla had made for the family. Since she was 18, when her father passed away, Camilla had worked part-time to help with expenses while studying. Now, at 25, she was still postponing her own dreams. "I promise I'll be back soon," Martha murmured. "Don't you worry about that now." Camilla kissed her mother's forehead and headed for the door. Before leaving, she peeked into Leo's room. Her 19-year-old brother was painting as always, surrounded by canvases, brushes, and paints everywhere. Seeing her, he quickly signed with his hands. "Leaving already?" he asked in sign language. "Yes, take care of Mom," she replied the same way. Leo smiled and gave her a thumbs up. His energy always calmed her, even when she felt exhausted. The Grand Monarch Hotel stood in the city center, a 10-story building that had seen better days, but still retained a certain elegance. Camilla arrived exactly at 11:30 p.m. The night manager, Mr. Harrison, greeted her in the lobby. "First night, right?" he said, as they walked to the reception desk. "It's easy. Night guests are few, and most are regulars." He showed her the computer system, the master keys, the emergency phones. "Regular guests?" Camilla asked. "Business people who stay for months, like Mr. Sterling in Suite 412. An executive, very serious, never causes problems." At 2:00 a.m., when Mr. Harrison had left and Camilla was alone at the reception, the elevator opened with a soft ding. A man stepped out, walking slowly. Tall, about 35, he wore a dark suit without a tie. His black hair was a little disheveled, and his shirt wrinkled, as if he'd come from a meeting that had lasted too long. Their eyes met for a moment. He stopped a few feet from the counter, as if to approach her, but just nodded slightly and walked towards the hotel exit. Camilla watched him through the large windows. It was raining lightly outside, but he didn't seem to mind. He pulled up his collar and began walking down the empty street. "That's Aaron Sterling," the security guard said, approaching the counter. "He goes out every night at this hour, walks for hours." "Why?" The guard shrugged. "Who knows? Rich people have their quirks." Camilla kept watching until the man's figure disappeared into the street's shadows. There was something strange in his walk, as if he were running from something or looking for something he couldn't find. The rest of the night passed without incident. A guest called for more towels. Another asked about breakfast hours, simple routines that gave her time to get used to the slow pace of the night shift. At 6:00 a.m., when her replacement arrived, Camilla returned home tired, but relieved to have survived her first night. Martha was waiting awake in the kitchen, sipping tea. "How was it, sweetie?" "Good. Quiet." "Meet anyone interesting?" Camilla thought of the man from the elevator, his tired eyes, and his solitary walk in the rain. "Just normal guests," she lied. But as she prepared for sleep, she couldn't get the image of Aaron Sterling walking alone through the empty streets in the early morning out of her mind. Two completely different worlds. He in his 10th floor suite. She working all night to support her family. He with enough money to stay months in a hotel. She postponing her studies to cover basic expenses. Yet something in that brief look told her they might not be as different as they seemed. Camilla's third night at the hotel passed like the previous ones. It was 2:30 a.m. when she heard agitated voices near the main entrance. "Hey, you can't just walk in like that!" the security guard shouted. Camilla got up from the counter and saw Leo in the lobby carrying a large canvas. Her brother looked confused and scared, trying to explain something with signs that the guard clearly didn't understand. "Sir, I'm talking to you." The guard moved closer to Leo. "What are you doing here at this hour?" Camilla rushed towards them. "Wait, he's my brother!" "Your brother?" The guard looked at her suspiciously. He walked in without ID, carrying this. He looked like a thief. Leo signed quickly to Camilla. His hands trembled with nerves. "I wanted to show you my new painting, the one I told you about that was about the night. I thought you'd like to see it." "What's he saying?" the guard asked, annoyed. "He's deaf," Camilla explained. "He just wanted to show me his painting." "Well, he should do it during normal hours. This isn't the place for—" "Is there a problem?" All three turned. Aaron Sterling. He was coming out of the elevator, in his usual wrinkled suit, and that serious look Camilla now recognized. "Mr. Sterling." The guard immediately changed his tone. "This young man came in without permission and—" "May I see the painting?" Aaron addressed Leo directly. Leo looked at Camilla, confused. She signed for him to show the painting. Carefully, Leo turned the canvas. It was a nocturnal painting of the city, but it wasn't dark as Camilla expected. It was full of colors, deep blues, violets, soft yellows representing the lights from the windows. It was beautiful. Aaron moved closer to the painting, studying it in silence. Then he looked at Leo and slowly raised both hands. "It's very beautiful," he signed to him. Leo's eyes widened. No one outside the family had tried to speak his language before. "You know sign language?" Leo asked, excited. "A little. I had a deaf roommate in college," Aaron replied with his hands. Camilla was speechless. The guard also seemed surprised. "How many years have you been painting?" Aaron asked aloud. So Camilla could translate. "Since I was 15, Leo replied with signs, "but I've never sold one." When Camilla translated, Aaron nodded thoughtfully. "I know a small gallery that exhibits art from new artists. If you like, I can talk to the owner." Leo got so excited, he almost dropped the painting. He quickly signed to Camilla. "Really? A real gallery?" "Yes," Aaron replied. "But you'd have to bring more paintings for her to see." "Sorry for the interruption," the guard murmured, clearly embarrassed by his initial reaction. "I didn't know that." "No problem," Aaron said. "We all make mistakes." He headed towards the exit, but stopped and looked at Camilla. "Do you come here often to watch her work?" he asked Leo, pointing to Camilla. "It's the first time. I usually sleep at this hour," Leo replied. "Your sister works very hard," Aaron told him. "You should be proud of her." Leo smiled and nodded vigorously. After Aaron left and Leo returned home with his painting, Camilla kept thinking about what had happened. Over the next few nights, Aaron began stopping at the reception before going for his walk. "How's your brother?" he asked on the fourth night. "Good. He hasn't stopped talking about the gallery," Camilla replied. "Well, not talking exactly, but, you know." Aaron smiled slightly. It was the first time Camila had seen him smile. "Why did you learn sign language?" she asked. "My college roommate was deaf. At first it was hard to communicate, but he taught me. It turned out to be one of the most important friendships of my life. Are you still in touch?" Aaron's smile faded. "He passed away 5 years ago. Car accident." "I'm sorry. That's why I liked helping your brother. Richard would have done the same." That night, when Aaron went for his walk, Camila watched him from the window. He no longer seemed like a rich stranger with odd quirks. She began to see a man who carried his own losses, and who, despite that, had been kind to her family. The next day, Leo came home with 5 new paintings. Aaron had spoken to the gallery owner. Leo told Camila with excited signs, "She wants to see me on Friday!" "Really?" Camila couldn't believe it. "She says maybe I can have a small exhibition next month." For the first time in weeks, Camila felt something akin to hope. Maybe things were starting to change for the better. But that night, while organizing old papers in her mother's desk, she found something that would change everything. What do you think Camila found? What secret could link her mother to Aaron Sterling? Let us know your theories in the comments below. Aaron's visits to the reception became routine. Every night before going for his walk, he would stop to exchange a few words with Camila. At first, they talked about Leo and his paintings, but little by little their conversations extended. "Did you always want to study literature?" he asked one night, leaning casually on the counter. "Since I was a child," Camila replied. "I love writing, reading. I wanted to be a professor, or maybe work in publishing." "Wanted to? Not anymore?" Camila shrugged. "Plans change. Family is more important." "They don't necessarily have to be opposite things," Aaron said. "I've seen people achieve both." "Did you?" Aaron was silent for a moment. "No, I chose work and left everything else aside." There was something in his voice that sounded like regret. The gallery confirmed Leo's exhibition for the following month. Her brother was so excited, he painted day and night, filling the house with colors and creativity that contrasted with the exhaustion Camila felt. "Sweetie, you look pale," Martha told her one afternoon. "Are you eating well?" "Yes, Mom. I'm just adjusting to the night schedule." "And how are things at the hotel?" Camila thought of Aaron, their increasingly long conversations, the way he listened when she talked about her postponed dreams. "Quiet. The guests are kind." Martha looked at her with that mother's intuition that always made her nervous. "Any particular guest?" "Why do you ask that?" "Because you come home with a different expression, as if something good happened during your night." Camila didn't answer, but she knew her mother was right. The nights at the hotel no longer felt like a sacrifice. She had gotten used to the slow pace, to the silence interrupted only by conversations with Aaron. One night, he arrived earlier than usual. Instead of his wrinkled suit, he wore jeans and a casual shirt. He looked younger, less tired. "Aren't you going for your walk?" Camila asked. "I thought maybe you'd like to join me for some dinner. There's a taco place open all night 2 blocks away." Camila looked around the empty lobby. "I can't leave the reception." "The guard can cover you for half an hour. I've already spoken to him." "You already spoke to him?" Aaron smiled that small smile she now knew. "That's a yes." Half an hour later, they were sitting in a small, simple taco shop. Aaron looked completely out of place in his expensive clothes in that humble environment, but he seemed comfortable. "Do you come here often?" Camila asked. "Some nights. I like to walk and find new places." "Why do you walk so much?" Aaron played with his taco before answering. "Because in my apartment there's only silence. And it's not the quiet silence like at the hotel. It's the silence of being alone." "Don't you have family?" "My parents passed away 3 years ago. I don't have siblings. I was married, but..." He stopped there. "But..." Work became more important than anything else. She got tired of waiting. Camilla understood why he valued so much what she did for her family. Do you regret it? Every day. They walked slowly back to the hotel. Camilla realized she didn't want the half hour to end. "Thanks for dinner," she said when they reached the lobby. "Thanks for the company." Their hands brushed when he handed her a coffee he'd bought along the way. It was only for a second, but Camilla felt a strange current run up her arm. The following nights, Aaron stayed longer at the reception. They talked about books, about the dreams they both had put aside, about Leo and his art. One night, Camilla was organizing documents when she found an old folder in the bottom drawer of her mother's desk. It contained papers from when Martha had worked at a construction company before coming to the hotel. Curious, she opened the folder. It contained legal documents, letters, and some photographs of the site where Martha had had her accident. In one of the photographs, she recognized a company logo, Sterling and Associates, Construction and Development. Her heart pounded. She kept looking and found more documents with the same name. Contracts, dismissal letters, medical reports of Martha's accident. At the end of the folder, there was a letter addressed to her mother. It was signed by Aaron Sterling. Camilla read it with trembling hands. "Dear Ms. Hayes, I deeply regret the accident that occurred on our site. Although my partner refuses to accept responsibility, I acknowledge that the safety measures were not sufficient. Enclosed is a check as compensation and my commitment to cover all your medical expenses." The letter was dated 5 years ago. Camilla stood motionless, staring at the paper. Aaron had been a partner in the company that had ruined her mother's lungs, the company that had left them without medical insurance and with huge debts, the man who had become part of her nights, who had helped Leo, who had made her feel that maybe she could have something more than sacrifices in her life. He was part of the reason she was working at the hotel instead of being in college. She put the documents away with trembling hands, just as she heard the elevator open. Aaron stepped out, as he did every night, ready for their usual conversation. But this time, when he looked at her, Camilla couldn't meet his gaze. "Are you okay?" he asked, approaching the counter. "Yes," she lied. "Just tired." But her voice sounded different, and by Aaron's expression, he noticed. "Do you think Camilla should confront Aaron about the letter? What would you do in her shoes? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you're enjoying this story, hit the like button and subscribe for more." Camilla didn't sleep at all after her shift. She sat on her bed, looking at the letter again and again. Aaron's words repeated in her mind. "My partner refuses to accept responsibility." The safety measures were not sufficient. At 10 in the morning, Martha woke up coughing. "Why aren't you sleeping, sweetie?" "Mom, I need to ask you something about your accident at the construction company." Martha immediately tensed. "Why? That was years ago." "I found this letter in your desk." Camilla showed her the paper. "It's from Aaron Sterling." Martha's face turned pale. "Where did you get that?" "It was in the folder with all the accident documents." "Mom, why did you never tell me he offered you help?" Martha sat heavily on the bed. "Because I didn't want his dirty money. That man and his partner almost killed me with their negligence. But according to the letter, he wanted to help you. His partner was the problem." "They were partners!" Martha raised her voice. "Both were responsible. I don't care if one seemed nicer than the other." "What happened to the check he sent you?" Martha looked away. "I tore it up." "You tore it up?" Camilla couldn't believe it. "Do you know how much money we could have needed?" "It was guilt money, Camilla. I didn't want it. And the medical expenses he promised to cover? He never covered them. After I tore up the check, he never contacted me again." Camilla remained silent, processing the information. Her mother had rejected Aaron's help, but he had tried to do the right thing. That night, Camila arrived at the hotel with a knot in her stomach. She didn't know how she was going to face Aaron. When he arrived at 11:30 p.m., as always, she didn't look up from the computer. "Camila." His voice sounded concerned. "Is something wrong?" She finally looked at him. She had to ask him directly. "Was Sterling and Associates your company?" Aaron froze completely. His face turned serious. "How?" "My mother worked on one of your sites 5 years ago. Martha Hayes." "Your mother is Martha Hayes? Did you remember her?" "Of course I remember her." He approached the counter. "Camila, you need to know the whole story." "I'm listening." Aaron took a deep breath before beginning. "My partner, Robert Jenkins, constantly cut corners on safety expenses. I argued with him about it, but he owned 51% of the company. When your mother's accident happened, I wanted to make things right. I offered compensation, medical expenses, everything. And? Your mother rejected everything. She tore up the check in front of me and told me she didn't want anything from us." "Did you try to contact her afterward?" "Several times, but she didn't want to talk to me. Then I found out she had gotten a job here at the hotel." "Is that why you're staying here? To keep an eye on her?" "No." Aaron looked frustrated. "I'm staying here because after the accident, I ended my partnership with Robert. I lost almost all my money in lawsuits and in properly closing the company. This hotel is the only place I can afford while I rebuild my business." Camila looked at him with suspicion. "And it's purely coincidental that my mother works here?" "Yes and no. I knew she worked here, but I never imagined I'd have a daughter like you." "What does that mean?" "It means that when I met you, I didn't know who you were, and when I realized, it was too late." "Too late for what?" Aaron looked directly into her eyes. "Too late not to care what you think of me." Camila felt her heart race, but she also felt betrayed. "I need time to think about this." "Camila, please." "No, I need space." Over the next few nights, Aaron continued to exit the elevator at 2 a.m., but he no longer stopped at the reception. He just nodded slightly and went for his walk. Camila felt empty. She had started to feel something for him, and now she didn't know what was real and what wasn't. A week later, someone knocked on her door. It was Mark, her ex-boyfriend from university. "Hi, Camila. I heard you're going through a tough time." Mark was a lawyer now, well-dressed and successful. They had broken up 2 years ago because he had become too ambitious and controlling. "How did you know where I live?" "Your classmate Patricia told me about your mother and that you had to leave university." "What do you want, Mark?" "To help you. I heard your mother had problems with a construction company. I could take the case, sue for damages." Camila looked at him in surprise. "Would you really do that?" "For you, I'd do anything. We should never have broken up, Camila. We were good together." For the first time in days, Camila felt like someone understood her and wanted to help her without expecting anything in return. Or so she thought. Mark showed up at Camila's house the next day with a folder full of legal documents. "I've already investigated your mother's case," he said, sitting at the kitchen table. "Sterling and Associates had several safety violations. We can win a lot of money with this lawsuit." Martha came out of her room, curious to hear the conversation. "Who is he, sweetie?" "Mark Jenkins, Ms. Hayes. I'm a lawyer and your daughter's ex-boyfriend." He extended his hand. "I want to help you get justice." "Jenkins?" Martha frowned. "Are you related to Robert Jenkins?" Mark tensed slightly. "He's my uncle, but that doesn't matter. I'm on your side." Camila looked at her mother with concern. Was it a coincidence that Aaron's ex-partner was Mark's uncle? "I don't think this is right," Martha murmured. "Ma'am, precisely because I know my uncle's practices, I know you have a strong case." Mark pulled out more papers. "I have internal documents that prove negligence." Over the next few weeks, Mark visited the house almost daily. He always had new questions about the accident, about the family's financial situation, about Camila's shifts at the hotel. "And this Aaron Sterling, is he still staying there?" he asked one night. "Yes, why?" "Because I need to know if he has tried to influence you in any way. Bribing witnesses is a serious crime." "He hasn't done anything wrong," Camila defended. "Are you sure? A rich man staying in the same hotel where you work, helping your brother. Doesn't that seem suspicious?" Camila didn't answer, but Mark's words planted doubts in her mind. One morning, Martha entered Camila's room with red eyes from crying. "Sweetie, I need to show you something." She showed her a manila envelope full of photocopied documents. "What's this, Mom?" "These are copies of documents I kept from the accident. Safety reports, internal emails, photos of the site." Camila reviewed the papers. Several emails showed Robert Jenkins ordering that safety inspections be skipped to save time and money. But there were also emails from Aaron protesting those decisions. "Mom, these documents show that Aaron was trying to do things right. But they also show that he knew what was happening and didn't do enough to stop it." Martha took a deep breath. "Yesterday, I took these documents to the prosecutor's office. I filed a formal complaint against Aaron Sterling." "What?" Camila got out of bed. "Why?" "Because I don't want him to take advantage of you like he took advantage of us." "Mom, he's not taking advantage of me." "Are you sure? Don't you feel anything for him?" Camila remained silent. Her mother had hit the mark. "I was young once too, sweetie. I know when a woman is falling in love, and I won't let that man hurt you." That night, when Camila arrived at the hotel, she found the lobby full of reporters. Mr. Harrison greeted her with a worried look. "What's going on?" she asked. "News broke about Mr. Sterling. Accusations of corruption and criminal negligence." Camila felt her stomach churn. "Where is he?" "He left this morning. Said he wouldn't return until everything was cleared up." On the lobby television, a reporter spoke in front of the building. "Aaron Sterling, a construction executive, faces serious accusations of corruption and negligence that resulted in multiple workplace accidents. The complaint filed by an anonymous victim includes documents suggesting a pattern of criminal conduct." Camila felt dizzy. Her mother had used the documents but had distorted them to make Aaron appear to be the sole culprit. Her phone rang. It was Mark. "Did you see the news?" He sounded excited. "You had something to do with this. Your mother brought me the documents yesterday. I helped her file the complaint correctly." "Mark, those documents don't tell the whole story. They tell the story we need to win the case, and for people to know what kind of man Aaron Sterling is." Camila hung up the phone, furious. She realized that Mark had manipulated her mother to get those documents. The next few hours were chaotic. More reporters arrived at the hotel, asking about Aaron. Mr. Harrison had to call for additional security. On social media, Aaron Sterling's name was trending. The comments were cruel. "Another corrupt businessman. Hope he rots in jail. The rich always get away with it." But Camila knew it wasn't that simple. She had read the complete documents. Aaron had made mistakes, yes, but he wasn't the monster the news painted him to be. That morning, alone at the reception, Camila looked towards the elevator, waiting to see him come out as he did every night. But the elevator remained closed. For the first time in weeks, Aaron wasn't there. And for the first time since she started working at the hotel, Camila felt completely alone. She wondered if she would ever see him again, and if she would have the opportunity to apologize for something she hadn't caused, but also hadn't prevented. What do you think will happen next? Will Aaron be able to clear his name? Do you think Camila and her mother can fix this? Share your predictions in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories. Camila arrived home after her shift with a mix of rage and sadness she couldn't control. Martha was in the kitchen preparing breakfast, as if it were a normal day. "How could you do that, Mom?" Martha didn't look up from the stove. "I did what I had to do to protect my family." "You used altered documents. Mark manipulated you. Mark helped me seek justice. Mark used you to get revenge on Aaron." Camila slammed the table. "Don't you realize his uncle Robert was the real culprit?" Martha turned around, her eyes filled with tears. "And don't you realize you're falling in love with the man who ruined our lives?" "He didn't ruin our lives. He tried to help us, and you refused his help." "His help?" Martha laughed bitterly. "A guilt check? Was that help?" It was more than his partner was willing to give. Mother and daughter looked at each other in silence. They had never fought like this. "My daughter, that man is dangerous. He's manipulating you just like what, Mom?" Martha sat heavily in a chair. "Just like your father manipulated me." Camila froze. Her father had died when she was 18, and Martha never spoke ill of him. "What do you mean?" "Your father was charming, attentive. He made me feel special. But he was also a liar. He had debts I didn't know about, problems he hid from me. When he died, I found out he had mortgaged the house without telling me. Dad wasn't like Aaron. All men are the same when they have secrets, my daughter. And that Sterling has many secrets." Camila went to her room without saying anything else. She couldn't believe her mother had destroyed a man's reputation because of her own fears. Over the next few days, Mark was constantly at the house. He always had good news about the case. "The media is on our side," he'd say. "This is going to boost my profile as a workers' rights attorney." "Your profile?" Camila asked one afternoon. "I thought this was about helping my family." "Of course it's about helping you. But if my career also benefits, all the better for everyone." "What if Aaron is innocent?" Mark laughed. "No one is completely innocent, Camila. Besides, my uncle told me things about Sterling that aren't in the documents." "What kind of things?" "Things that confirm he was as corrupt as Robert, just better at hiding it." But something in the way Mark avoided her eyes told Camila he was lying. That night at the hotel, Mr. Harrison gave her news that surprised her. "Mr. Sterling paid his bill until the end of the month, but he's left the suite. He's officially no longer staying here." "Did he leave a message?" "Only this." He handed her an envelope with her name handwritten on it. Camila waited until she was alone to open it. Inside was a short letter. "Camila, I understand why your mother did what she did. I would protect my family too if I had one. I don't blame you for anything. Take care of Leo and tell him I'm proud of him. His first exhibition will be a success. A.S." There was also a gallery contact card and a note that read, "For Leo, everything is paid in advance." Camila stared at the letter until her eyes blurred. The next day, she went to confront Mark in his office. "I want to see the original documents you gave the prosecution." "Why?" "Because I think you altered them." Mark grew nervous. "Camila, I just organized the information more clearly." "More clearly or more conveniently?" "What are you implying?" "That you used my mother to get revenge on Aaron, because your Uncle Robert asked you to." Mark got up from his desk. "That's ridiculous." "Really? Then you won't mind if I review the original documents." "The documents are confidential now that the case is open." Camila realized she had hit the mark. "You're a coward, Mark, and I was an idiot for trusting you." "Camila, wait." But she was already gone. That night, Martha entered Camila's room with an old shoebox. "I found this while cleaning the closet." Inside were letters, many letters, all signed by Aaron Sterling and addressed to Martha. "What are these, Mom?" Martha sat on the bed, looking older than ever. Letters he sent me for 2 years after the accident, offering help, apologizing, asking about my health. Why did you never show them to me? Because I was scared that if I accepted his help, I would become dependent on him, like I was dependent on your father. Camila read some of the letters. In all of them, Aaron sounded genuinely concerned and remorseful. Mom, I think we made a terrible mistake. Martha nodded with tears in her eyes. I know, sweetie, I know. Martha didn't sleep all night. At 6 in the morning, she was sitting at the kitchen table, with Aaron's letters scattered in front of her and the phone in her hand. Camila found her like that when she returned from her shift. Mom, are you okay? I called the prosecutor's office. I want to withdraw the complaint. Really? Martha picked up one of the letters. In this one, Aaron says he visited the hospital 3 times to ask about me. I never knew, because I told the nurses I didn't want to see anyone from the construction company. Camila sat next to her mother. What did they tell you at the prosecutor's office? That I can make a public statement retracting. But that doesn't guarantee they'll drop the charges. The media already has the story. Then let's make it public. Martha looked at her in surprise. Are you sure? People will think we were bought off or that we're crazy. I don't care what people think. What matters is doing the right thing. That afternoon, mother and daughter went to the prosecutor's office. Martha, with a trembling but firm voice, dictated her retraction. I, Martha Hayes, want to clarify that the complaint I filed against Aaron Sterling was made with incomplete information and motivated by personal grudges. After reviewing all the documents, I recognize that Mr. Sterling tried to help me after my accident, but I rejected his help. He was not the primary responsible party for the negligence on the site. The prosecutor interrupted her. Ms. Hayes, are you sure no one is pressuring you to make this statement? Completely sure. It's my decision. Do you know this could prejudice any financial compensation you might receive? I don't want money that isn't rightfully mine. When they left the prosecutor's office, several reporters were waiting for them. Camila wanted to avoid them, but Martha stopped. I want to talk to them. In front of the cameras, Martha repeated her retraction. Her voice sounded tired, but honest. I made a serious mistake due to my own fears. Aaron Sterling doesn't deserve what's happening to him because of me. Why did you change your mind, Ms. Hayes? A reporter asked. Because I found letters he sent me for years, offering help. Letters I never opened because I was blind with anger. Did your daughter influence your decision? Martha looked at Camila. My daughter helped me see the truth, but the decision was mine. That night, Martha's retraction was news across all media. Comments on social media were harsh. Some supported her for her honesty. Others criticized her for having lied from the beginning. But what hurt Camila most were Mark's messages. I can't believe you ruined everything for a man who doesn't even know you. You just destroyed my career for nothing. I hope your whim was worth it. Camila blocked his number. 2 days later, a letter arrived at the hotel addressed to her. The sender was Aaron's law firm. Dear Camila, on behalf of our client, Aaron Sterling, we want to express our gratitude for your and your mother's courageous actions. Thanks to your retraction, we have been able to demonstrate that the original accusations were distorted. Mr. Sterling bears no ill will and understands the circumstances that led to this situation. We enclose a check to cover any legal expenses this situation may have caused you. The check was for more money than Camila had ever seen. That night, when she arrived at the hotel for her shift, she found the lobby quieter than in weeks. The reporters were gone. Everything had returned to normal. At 10 o'clock, Mr. Harrison approached the reception. We have a guest who wants to check in for tonight. At this hour, he says he's a frequent client. Camila looked up and saw Aaron walking towards the counter. He looked tired, but he no longer had that defeated expression he had had the past few weeks. They looked at each other in silence for a few seconds. "Hello," he said finally. "Hello," she replied, her heart beating so hard she was sure he could hear it. "How are you?" "Better." "You?" "Better too." He moved closer to the counter. "I came to thank you." "You don't have to thank me for anything. It was the right thing to do." "Not everyone would have done the right thing. Your mother is very brave." "She wants to see you to apologize in person." Aaron nodded. "I'd like that. Are you staying at the hotel?" "Yes, no problem." Camila smiled for the first time in weeks. "There's never a problem with you." He smiled too. "Do you still go for walks at night?" "Yes." "Want to join me?" This time Camila didn't hesitate. "Yes." Don't miss the heartwarming conclusion to Camila and Aaron's story. Hit the like button if you believe in second chances, subscribe for more inspiring content, and tell us in the comments, what's your favorite part of their journey so far? 3 weeks after the public retraction, Leo stood in front of the bathroom mirror, nervous, adjusting the time Martha had bought, especially for his exhibition opening. "Don't worry, brother," Camila signed to him. "Everything will be fine." "What if people don't like my paintings?" he replied. "Impossible. They're beautiful." Martha appeared at the bathroom door, dressed in her best blue dress. She had recovered considerably in recent weeks, not only physically, but emotionally. "Ready?" she asked. Leo nodded, though he still looked nervous. The gallery was only 10 blocks from the hotel. The three of them walked together through the streets in the late afternoon. It was the first time in months they had gone out as a family for something other than a doctor's appointment or an obligation. "Is Aaron coming?" Leo signed. Camila blushed slightly. "He said he'd try to make it." In the last 3 weeks, Aaron had become part of their routine again. But now it was different. There were no more secrets between them. He had told her about his divorce, about the pressure of maintaining a company he inherited from his father, about how he had lost his way in life until he met her family. Camila had told him about her postponed dreams, about the guilt she felt for not being able to take better care of her family, about her fear of trusting someone again. The gallery was small but elegant. There were about 20 people when they arrived, mostly young people, who seemed to be artists or art students. Leo's paintings hung on the main walls. There were 7 canvases, all with nocturnal themes, but full of color and life. The one Camila liked best showed the illuminated windows of an apartment building, each window telling a different story. "They're incredible," Martha murmured with tears in her eyes. "My son is truly talented." The gallery owner, Elaine Vance, approached them. "You must be Leo's family. I'm Elaine." "Thank you for giving him this opportunity," Martha said. "Talent speaks for itself. We've already sold 3 paintings this afternoon." Leo blushed with excitement when Camila translated Elaine's words. At 8 in the evening, when the gallery was fuller, Aaron arrived. He wore a gray suit and carried a bouquet of flowers. "For the artist," he told Leo, handing him the flowers. Leo signed his thanks and then asked, "What do you think of them?" Aaron slowly walked around the gallery, studying each painting. Finally, he returned to where Leo was. "They're better than I imagined. You have a brilliant future," he signed back. At that moment, Elaine approached with a huge smile. "Leo, I have incredible news. An international foundation that supports artists with disabilities saw photos of your work on social media. They want to offer you a 1-year scholarship to study in their program in Spain." When Camila translated, Leo gasped. "Spain? Really?" he asked with trembling hands. "It's a unique opportunity," Elaine continued. "The program includes housing, art materials, and classes with internationally recognized artists." Martha approached her son and hugged him. "You have to go, my son. It's your chance to grow as an artist." But Leo looked at his mother with concern. "What about you? Who will take care of Mom?" "I'm fine," Martha said. "And Camilla no longer needs to work nights to take care of me." Leo looked at Camilla inquiringly. "It's true. I decided to finish my studies and look for a job related to my career," Camilla explained. "I'm not working at the hotel anymore." "And Aaron?" Leo asked, looking between his sister and him. Aaron approached the group. "Can I speak with you all for a moment?" They moved to a more private corner of the gallery. "I wanted to ask you something important." Aaron looked at Martha and then at Camilla. "I would like you to move in with me, Camilla." Martha raised her eyebrows in surprise. "Are you sure it's the right time?" she asked. "We've talked a lot these past few weeks," Camilla replied. "We know what we want." "And what do you want?" Martha asked. Aaron took Camilla's hand. "To build something real together, without secrets, without lies, just honesty and patience." Martha looked at them for a long moment. Finally, she smiled. "Then you have my blessing." Leo clapped excitedly and signed to them. "I'm happy for you both." That night, at the end of the opening, the four of them walked home together. Leo carried an envelope with his scholarship contract for Spain. Martha had sold 5 of his 7 paintings. Camilla had a job interview at a publishing house next week, and Aaron had a second chance to do things right. "You know what?" Martha said. "I think everything happens for a reason." "Even the difficult parts?" Camilla asked. "Especially the difficult parts. They teach us to value the good when it comes." Aaron squeezed Camilla's hand. "Your mother is very wise." "I know," Camilla replied. "It took me time to realize it." What a journey. 6 months later, Camilla woke up to the sound of rain gently tapping against the apartment windows. It was Saturday morning, and she didn't have to get up early for the publishing house where she now worked as a proofreader. She lay in bed for a few minutes, listening to the familiar sounds of the house, Aaron making coffee in the kitchen, the distant city traffic, the chime of her phone indicating new messages. The apartment they shared was simple but comfortable. 2 bedrooms, a spacious living room with large windows, and a kitchen where Aaron had insisted on having a table large enough for when Martha and Leo visited. "Good morning." Aaron appeared at the door with 2 cups of coffee. "Good morning." Camilla sat up in bed and took her cup. "What are your plans for today? I thought we could go to the market and then stop by your mother's place." "Sound good?" Camilla nodded. Saturdays with Martha had become a tradition since she and Aaron started living together. At first, Martha had been tense when he visited, but gradually, especially after Aaron formally apologized for everything that had happened 5 years ago, the relationship between them had become comfortable and respectful. "Did Leo's email arrive?" Aaron asked. Camilla checked her phone. "Yes, he says his classes are going very well, and he's already sold 3 more paintings in a Madrid gallery. I'm glad he took the scholarship. At first, I was scared for him to go so far, but you can tell he's happy." Leo sent them weekly photos of his new paintings and the places he visited. His works had evolved, incorporating European influences, but maintaining that colorful energy that had always characterized him. After breakfast, they went to the downtown market. It was something they had started doing together without specifically planning it. Aaron bought ingredients for cooking, something he had learned to do in recent months, and Camilla chose fruits and vegetables. "Do you know what I like about doing this with you?" Camilla asked him as he paid for the vegetables. "What?" "That it feels normal, like we're just any couple doing errands." Aaron smiled. "Is that what we are? Any couple? You know what I mean. After all the drama of last year, I like that our life is quiet now." And it was true. The last 6 months had been the most stable of Camilla's life. She liked her job at the publishing house, even though it didn't pay as much as the hotel. Aaron had started a smaller, but more ethical, construction consulting firm. Martha had returned to the hotel part-time and was attending therapy to process her past traumas. When they arrived at Martha's house, they found her in the garden planting new flowers. "What a surprise," she said, though she expected them every Saturday. "How are the lovebirds?" "Mom," Camila blushed. "What? It's nice to see you happy." Martha had changed a lot in recent months. Therapy had helped her understand that her fear of rich and powerful men came from her experience with Camila's father, not necessarily from anything Aaron had done. "How are your sessions with the psychologist going?" Aaron asked, while helping Martha with the plants. "Better. This week we talked about forgiveness, towards others and towards oneself." "And what did you learn?" "That forgiving doesn't mean forgetting or justifying what happened. It means choosing not to carry the weight of resentment." Camila watched her mother and Aaron working together in the garden. 6 months ago, that scene would have been unthinkable. In the afternoon, they returned to their apartment. Aaron sat reading on the living room sofa, as he did every weekend afternoon. Camila settled beside him with her laptop, working on a personal project. She was writing a book about second chances. "What's today's chapter about?" Aaron asked, looking over her shoulder. "About how crises sometimes lead us exactly where we need to be." "Do you believe that?" Camila closed her laptop and leaned against his shoulder. "If my mother hadn't gotten sick, I would never have worked at the hotel. If I hadn't worked at the hotel, I would never have met you. If you hadn't had problems with your ex-partner, you would never have stayed at that hotel for months. And if my mother hadn't filed the complaint, maybe we would never have talked honestly about our past. Maybe I would always have had doubts." Aaron kissed her forehead. "You're right. Crises brought us here." That night, as Aaron slept beside her, Camila stayed awake a few more minutes, thinking about everything that had changed. It wasn't a perfect life. Aaron still had sleepless nights from work stress. She sometimes felt guilty for not visiting Martha more. Money wasn't abundant, but it wasn't scarce either. But it was a real life, built on solid foundations, honesty, mutual respect, and the conscious decision to choose each other every day. Camila smiled in the darkness. "Not everything starts perfectly," she thought. "But what is born from forgiveness can last forever." Outside, it was still raining softly, but inside, everything was calm. Did you enjoy Camila and Aaron's love story? This novel teaches us that sometimes the most beautiful endings are born from the most difficult beginnings. As we saw, forgiveness has the power to heal deep wounds and completely transform lives. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like the video and share it with someone who needs to hear about second chances and the value of family. The story of Camila, Martha, and Leo reminds us that it's never too late to rectify our mistakes and build something better. Do you think Martha did the right thing by publicly retracting her statement? Did you identify with any of the characters? Leave us a comment telling us which part of the story moved you the most. And if you want to keep enjoying more stories like this, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any new novels. By the way, we'd love to know more about our audience. What country are you watching us from? Write it in the comments.